It's a tale as old as time, family bonds, secrets, and paternity, all coming to light in the tense atmosphere of a courtroom. This isn't just another case. It's a raw, emotional journey into the hearts of a family divided. We enter the paternity court, where the saint aches are higher than ever, and emotions run deeper than anyone expected. This is the case of Mr. Nicola, Mr. Eddy, and Ms. Wilson, and it all revolves around a little boy named Arrow. In the courtroom, we meet Mr. Nicola and Mr. Eddy, first cousins, who grew up together, played together, and shared a bond that many would envy. But now, that bond is fractured, torn by the haunting question: who is Arrow's father? Mr. Nicola sits on the edge of his seat, his eyes filled with emotion. He glances at his cousin across the room, the weight of the situation hanging heavy in the air. And there's Ms. Wilson, a woman caught in the middle, struggling to keep the peace while wrestling with her own confusion and guilt. The story begins with Mr. Nicola recounting his connection to Arrow. "I come home from work," he smiles, crawls over to me. I leave. He cries until she comes home. He's just like my little buddy. His voice quivers as he speaks about his relationship with Arrow. The love in his words is undeniable, but the tension is palpable. When asked what this relationship means to him, his answer is heartbreaking. It means more than anything, because he's the first one I'm actually going to get to see grow up. But the storm clouds are gathering. The thought that this could be your cousin's baby hangs over him like a dark cloud. The possibility of it being someone else's child eats away at his heart, but in the same breath, there's a sense of happiness for Calla, who is experiencing motherhood for the first time. And then there's the added weight of the miscarriage that Mr. Nicola and Calla went through. The grief, the loss, it had torn them apart. But now Arrow is a symbol of hope, a fresh start, and the pain of the past has made this moment even more significant. As the judge listens to the unfolding emotions, she looks at Ms. Wilson and asks about her mother's involvement. "Your mother submitted a statement to the court. She's one of the identical twins, and Ms. McCartney sent this statement. She says that she believes she's Arrow's grandmother." The room is silent as Ms. Wilson confirms her mother's feelings.
"Yes, Your Honor."
She believes she's a grandmother, but that's not where it ends. Mr. Eddy's mother also submitted a statement, and she speaks of a mother's love. "I believe my son is Arrow's father.
No.
When she took the pregnancy test, I was the first one. Her and Nathan showed it too." The courtroom hears the truth. Ms. Wilson had always believed Mr. Nicola was the best option. Why? Because of practicality? Because Nathan, Mr. Eddy, wasn't ready to be a father. He didn't have a job, a vehicle, or a home of his own. He still lived with his parents. It wasn't about biology. It was about who was the most ready, the most capable, the most stable. Ms. Wilson, looking at her choices, made a heart-wrenching decision. "I felt like Nathan wasn't even ready if it was his own son. He didn't have a job. He didn't have a vehicle. He still lived with his parents. He wasn't ready. Cordell was there when I needed him." The words sting as they are spoken. Mr. Eddy feels betrayed. He looks at his cousin, who's sitting across from him, and the anger is palpable. "You just wanted him to be the dad regardless," he says, his voice filled with a mix of frustration and pain. That tore me up. The pivotal moment in the courtroom comes when Mr. Eddy is asked about missing the birth of his son, the child he believed was his. He had been told that Ms. Wilson had a doctor's appointment and he would be kept updated, but when the baby arrived, he was left out. "It just really ripped my heart out because I thought she loved me more than to do that to me," he says through tears. As the tension grows, Ms. Wilson defends her choice, stating, "We would have gone through with a DNA test if Nathan had been there." She insists that her decision to have Mr. Nicola's name on the birth certificate wasn't about denying anyone. It was about practicality. She was doing what was best for the baby and for herself. Yet Mr. Eddy feels the crushing weight of that decision. "When you say you love me, but then you don't give me a chance to be there when it counts," he says, his voice breaking. The room falls into a heavy silence. He looks at his cousin with pain in his eyes, but also a deep sense of respect. "I just wish things could have been different." Then the emotional climax hits. The judge asks, "Mr. Eddy, were you aware that your cousin signed the birth certificate for a baby he even says is 50-50 between you and him?" Mr. Eddy nods, his face etched with pain and confusion. He had hoped for a different outcome. The feeling of being left out, is more than just about missing a birth. It's about missing the chance to be a father, to be involved, to give love. He continues, I just got a message that said, he's here, with pictures. It felt like I was left out, like I wasn't even considered. In the midst of this turmoil, there's a deeper pain brewing, a pain of a broken relationship. This is a family divided, the judge observes. She looks at the cousins who once were best friends, but now struggle to even meet each other's eyes. The weight of the situation is too much to bear, but there's still a glimmer of hope. The judge offers a moment of clarity. She says, I've seen families come up in this courtroom and act a plumb fool over less drama than this. But you two have not spoken an ill word about the other. You've both cried when you talk about the baby and one another. It's a powerful momentary acknowledgement of the love, respect, and pain that still exists between the two men. And then the moment arrives. The DNA test results are ready. The truth will finally come to light. The court is silent as the envelope is opened. In the case of Wilson, Nicola v. Eddy, pertaining to whether Mr. Nicola or Mr. Eddy is the father of 10-month-old Arrow Nicola, it has been determined by this court... The judge pauses, looks at both men, and finally announces, the biological father is Mr. Nicola. The audience claps, but the moment isn't a moment of celebration. Mr. Nicola sighs with relief, but it's mixed with a sense of sorrow. I'm glad it's over with, he says, his voice heavy with the weight of the years spent wondering. Ms. Wilson tears up, knowing that this truth won't undo the damage done. The love triangle she created, the family's pain, the missed opportunities, all of it culminates in this one moment. As the judge offers counseling and resources for the family to rebuild their fractured bonds, there's a sense of hope. The truth has been revealed, and while it won't fix everything, it offers a chance for healing. The family may never be the same, but with time, patience, and understanding, maybe they can repair the ties that were broken. Judge Lake concludes, this is a family saga unlike anything we've seen in this courtroom. And I hope this truth is the beginning of at least an opportunity for you all to begin to repair the beautiful relationship you had. The family may have been torn apart by secrets, lies, and betrayal, but in the end, truth always has a way of shining through. This is a story of love, loss, and redemption, a story that will stay with everyone who witnesses it.